I'm in Washington. Well, I'm actually in Baltimore/Washington, in between the two, and I'm obviously at Six Flags America. First time I've ever visited this park. It's got 8 coasters that I'm looking forward to getting onto and adding to my credit list. Nothing major other than, say, the Superman Ride of Steel, actually known as Superman Ride of Steel at this park, and also their conversion of one of the original B&Ms, Iron Wolf, into a floorless coaster here known as Firebird, among many others. And then we're gonna unfortunately get out of here very fast because we do have another park to do later on this afternoon. Just down the road, you might figure out what it is. It's one of possibly 2. Anyhow, Six Flags America, first time on first drop. Let's go. It's definitely Americana. I'm gonna capture it a little bit better later on than from now to give you a little bit more of a picturesque idea, but right now I'm gonna try to get on as many of these coasters as I can. 9 credits for me to bag today, nothing major, so it's kind of like weird to decide what of the bigger rides here, Ride of Steel to Roar. I'm not really sure which one I should go to first, so we're just gonna explore the park organically, go all the way to the back, get on something, and then give you an idea of what it's all about here in a really kind of relaxed day at a brand new Six Flags park. One of the more difficult credits that you can try to get in a park is their wild mouses, as they're not great capacity machines. Thus, we're going to start with Ragin' Cajun. There is no wait. It looks like Wild One is not operating, which is a bit concerning, but there is some stuff around it, so hopefully it will be running today. I would love to get that credit. You can get a good shot of the transfer track. It's kind of an interesting spot for that coaster to be. I kind of like how it's positioned there, to be honest. Certainly don't look like it's operating currently. It'll probably come up later on today. I did see a recent vlog from here that indicated that, so I'll probably leave that till when I leave. But for now, it's Ragin' Cajun. Look at that steamer, man. That is wild. I'd like to get on this train. They've got nobody on it. Hey. All right, we've been given access now to the back half of the park, past Wild One. I'm pretty confident it'll open later. I certainly hope so. This is a park that's probably due for another major ride, however, so I'm sure that there'll be a reason to come back here soon. This voodoo drop is hilarious. I've never seen an Intamin drop tower so tiny. It's literally like 100 feet, I think. And it has a bit of a wait now because of that. I think they're only on 1 car. I'm tempted to go on it right now, but there are other things that beg our attention at the moment. The maintenance and upkeep of this park is really nice, but unfortunately there's a couple of things that I need to point out that I'm going to do later, like a lot of rides that aren't running and actually seem to be in the middle of repair. Might be why it's not too busy today. Lots of security, lots of staff, not many rides. Only been on 1. But I can see another one running in the background. One thing I'm worried about is that there's not many trains running on these rides, as you can see. Another closed attraction here. It's actually the theater. So we're approaching. Pandemonium, Superman, and of course, the probably least looked forward to ride that I'm here to ride, which is a Vekoma Flyer. I've only been on 1 before. It was a horrible experience. I'm sure this one will be just as bad. Maybe we'll just go on it immediately. Oh! Joker's Jinx is running, and thankfully in the background, so is Ride of Steel. There is nobody on Joker's Jinx. There's not too many people on.
Please keep your head back and hold on at all times. Thank you. Heavy cargo, clocks, keys, and hats and cups. Once you secure those, or one of the 2 empty seats in a row.
One thing that needs to be discussed in case I forget to do it when I come back with the better camera is I'm doing this in 2 shifts. So unfortunately I don't have the zoom, but this area is one of the sections that's clearly been closed that was well reported last season. This park suffering most than other Six Flags parks for ride closures, as you have this whole area that is closed and not open for anything. And also the SLC in the park that really you can't really see from this side or anywhere in the park. Somewhere hidden in here is not functioning either, so I'm sure we'll see that later.
Okay, get back. 1, 2, so it's coming.
Further to what I was saying, you can see that here is Whistle Stop Park, as it was called. It's completely closed. If anybody knows what this contraption is behind it, it looks like a giant plunge, but that whole apparatus at the top makes me think it was a turntable. In fact, I can see where I can see now where the turntable or the boats actually went up that drop. It's unfortunate it doesn't exist. We're gonna go over there shortly, but we're gonna go to Superman first, but I definitely wanted to show you that. With there being no arches here, it looks like this area is permanently closed. So you don't see often a children's area closed, but that has happened here, which is quite unfortunate. Yeah, most of the attractions are literal walk-ons, no matter where you are at. I don't know how that's a lasso. Unlike Darien Lake's version, this Ride of Steel is still officially Superman Ride of Steel. They've got the rights to hold on to that name. I was literally on this coaster's sister coaster only or less than 24 hours ago. And now it's time to finally ride the other Ride of Steel. Batwing has now started its cycles as they're testing it. So unfortunately, it looks like I am gonna get this credit today. I did just finish the sister coaster though. The original, or the still surviving Ride of Steel. Enjoyed my ride on Ride of Steel. It seemed a little more janky than the one at Darien Lake, oddly enough. So while cosmetically this one looks better, at least from the station, once you get down that hill, the track definitely looks like it's in some rough shape. As much as I said these are like my favorite sort of steel coaster designs, it's definitely looking and feeling its age. So yeah, nothing special. Exactly the same elements and sensations that you get in the Darien Lake version. Without the lake in the middle, it kind of takes away. It's more of like a wooded sort of feel, and like you kind of go back out into the woods and you come back. So that was kind of cool. Definitely great airtime on the airtime moments. Lots of, or 3 main ejector airtime hills on this, and including that finale as well, which is fantastic behind me. So great little ride. I just realized I'm also going to be riding the other Ride of Steel on this trip too. So I think I'm gonna almost have most of them done, but I haven't been to Fiesta, Texas. So unfortunately, I will not have done all the Supermans in the world, at least not yet. Unique observation that needs to be mentioned is that unfortunately this park seems to be the capital of mumble rap operators. As I just gotta be honest, I don't understand half of what they're saying. You kind of hear them in the background. It's just like that very ASMR mumble rubber. Make sure enjoy your. Anyhow, that's besides the point, because that ride, I just did a second ride on Superman in the back of the train. That is one of the best rides I've ever had on this model of coaster. It just shows you how different the front and the back of the train is, and also the people on the train. In the front, you don't really get the sensation of watching everybody, but on this one, this was just like the crowd reactions. Everybody was really into it, and obviously they really enjoyed this particular ride at this park. It's a special ride, and I kind of know why, because that was definitely excellent. I'd have to say that might be the best ride I've had on this particular model of a Superman. So even though the train's a little rough around the edges, it's still riding pretty damn well. So yeah, definitely a great one. Voodoo drop is not that terrifying, considering my home park's drop tower I think is 3 times this size. But we're gonna do it anyway. It's a nice view from the animal. I'm loving the dirty Mardi Gras jazz that Mardi Gras is playing. We just did the drop tower. It's tiny. It's like we were talking about it on the ride. I think it's like 120 feet maybe. Sadeko Zinger, this ride will never run again, as I'll capture some coverage of it. Sorry, closed until further notice. This ride ain't gonna open again. There's no chance. So we're gonna go on Wild One now, because that is now just opened. Just got off Wild One. Oh, that was a rough one, let me tell you. Hey, Rodney, gotta summon the spirit, because that was definitely one of the more rough wooden rides I've had in a while. It says it's 4,000 feet. I'm not convinced of that stat, because it was pretty fast and quick. Pretty rough. Definitely could do with a lot of retracking work. It definitely has kind of been sort of tinkered with over 100 years of its history. But it's a nice classic Woody. I kind of prefer the one at Dorney, to be honest with you. I found that was a little bit more of a sort of an entertaining ride, and I think that one's longer too, oddly enough. But besides the point, we still have 4 credits to do, and yeah, there was a little bit of a wait for that because of some line shenanigans. The crowds here a little misbehaved sometimes. I was saying from earlier, so this Larson Loop is in a state of sort of repair, I'd say. Whereas there's a crane here for this ride, because it's clearly going to be shipped on out of here, as you can see by the state of the chain at the top. And also just the general condition of the ride. They're definitely not going to be... So this area, I don't know, I'm sure, or I feel like this area might be reimagined. It's also a very awkward little section that you got to take this path in between the attractions to get to the other side.
That left bar to left bar is down, pull it back up to left bar is down, pull it back. I don't know, I'm looking at y'all on the back. Very much.
Just finished a ride on Roar. Actually 2 rides in a row on Roar. So second ride, I actually moved up a row into a non-wheel seat. It was much smoother as well, and much more of an enjoyable ride. Boy, that coaster packs a bit of a punch. It's a neat little GCI. No airtime really to be detected. It's all about those curves. It reminded me a bit of the Legend at Holiday World, as far as like those high sort of like parabolic turns, if you will. But yeah, enjoyable. Definitely don't think it needs more than 2 rides. Firebird is up next, and I will admit I kind of been nervous because it's had a pretty long queue considering none of the rides today have long queues. And I know why that is. It's not because it's the quotation new attraction, because it's certainly not a new ride. This is the last and the oldest B&M out there in existence today. And they're not lined up for that. I think it's an operational thing. We're going on it. Sylvester is here in the background, so say hello. There he goes. It's a hot day, so I feel sad for anybody that's doing that right now. All right, we're back to the back of the park. Oh, and I forgot. I'm on my own. There was two people beside me. What did they do? They decided to seat themselves in the very center of the train, despite there being plenty of space on it between us if you say sat two to the left and then one on the right. But now they had to sit in the center of the train. So what happens then? Of course, we're doing like our arm wrestling thing, jockeying for position, blah, blah, blah. But bro had no shoes and no socks on, so he just decided to stick his feet up in the air during the entire ride and wiggle his toes. I almost puked. I've never puked on a roller coaster before. That might have been the first time. All right, that experience out of the way. Let us get on another couple of rides before we head out of the park today. My last major coaster of the day here at Six Flags America is Batwing. Just for the record, it is now 1:30, so I've managed to get all the credits and re-rides on Roar and Superman in that course of time. So like 2.5 hours. Kind of a little worried that there's people coming back and security's coming this way, but I think we're good. This ride also is in an impossible location in the park. I don't know if there was something here before, but the fact that like both of these coasters, these two major coasters, are separated by that large piece of land, it's very unusual placement. They had to build this whole pathway just to basically make it happen. Very weird for a roller coaster that is not well revered. Anyhow, it's a credit, so we gotta do it. Some good sight lines around here too of other rides. Batwing done. Really, it's based on probably the coolest motion picture design vehicle of all time as far as I'm concerned, the original Batwing. There was actually some designs in the queue line that I couldn't quite get to because it was closed off. That's pretty much the only good part about this ride. Wow, that was excruciating. It actually wasn't as bad as the one that I remembered at Carowinds, but yeah, it's just, whoever came up with that concept and wrote it for the first time, I don't know what they were thinking, because it's just uncomfortable and it doesn't really leave anything to you. If you have like a sore stomach or, you know, respiratory problems or anything like that, that ride will kill you, because yeah, it just really kind of sucks the energy out of you being hanging the way that you are in that ride vehicle. I love flying coasters from B&M. Not about that one though. Pretty sure it won't be here when I get back. did the back seat, so it wasn't terrible, but I'm not going on it again. Too long of a line too, longest wait other than the crazy situation with Firebird earlier. So let's go on. It's time to conclude our day here at Six Flags America. I got one more coaster to grab before I leave. You can't hear me. I'm gonna do Ride of Steel one more time. I enjoyed it that much. We got one more credit that I'm looking for before we head out of the park, and then I'll wrap everything up after that. This isn't exactly a premier Six Flags park, but I do like it, and this is the other section that unfortunately is closed, so it does feel, it is a significant area, a whole ghost town that's not functioning right now. You can actually go in there somewhat. It's not really of interest to us because we are going to one of our favorite amusement parks in the world immediately after this, so we're gonna get on our way to that. Hopefully capture another credit on the way out. Looney Tunes Movie Town. I found my coaster. We're gonna quickly get on this. There's not that many kids today, if they allow me on it, and then we're gonna head out of the park. We've come full circle here. All right, so the Great Chase is done. Nice little coaster. It's nice that they allowed me to actually get onto it. The staff have been friendly. They're just not like, working, like a tightly oiled machine or anything like that. But there are exceptions and you get on the kiddie credits, so good times. All right, time to get out of here. Six Flags America. Had a pretty good day. I've done every credit. There's no reason to come back. I wouldn't even probably come back for the haunt event until they actually reopen the other side of this park, because there's a major amount of value underrepresented for the ticket holder at this park. Because yeah, you're missing on a major ride that they just decided to mothball, among other things. And this park does not have a lot to offer with all those rides closed. So, but that being said, very clean, very nicely presented, and the operations were pretty decent. So no complaints. Hopefully a major new ride will open up here in the next couple of years. I would definitely look forward to coming back. All right guys, that's it for the vlog. I'm off to Hershey Park. Thanks for dropping in.